Hello, good time of the day to all the participants of the second international marathon of studying and reading the Holy Scriptures. Today we have another day of warm-up for the marathon, which will start already in a day, on the 6th of May. It will be a very good day. It's the 14th day of the moon, very auspicious, good for all the beginnings and also for all the austerities. It's a good day for celebration. On this day, the God came to the world in a special form. We will talk about it a bit, and maybe we'll read the whole story from Srimad Bhagavatam devoted to this day. And we need to set ourselves up to this marathon because the action will be very strong if we will all connect and understand why we're doing it, because we want to help people to live through these bad times and make them tranquil. Like we were reading Srimad Bhagavatam, it was the manifestation of God's energy, of God Himself. So we will be studying the actions of God, which were 500 years ago. It is very rare that the God Himself comes to this world, and usually He comes in a certain form. 500 years ago, it was a form, and He Himself came, and these actions were written down by the sages who lived together with Him, His consorts, who were living together with Him, and they just wrote down all this in the chronicles and compiled the Holy Scripture from this. And somebody might ask, why are you all the time talking about this, all the time about birth, death, old age? And we tell it so that we are in a good spiritual toning. It's not the world for us, for the souls. We got this one of the bodies, and we were changing the bodies. And since we will have to end this material existence, there will be unpleasant moments, and to go out from this roundabout, we need to use our human life in a good way. That's why God sent different prophets, Messiah, and that's why Jesus Christ came as the Son of the God. He told about how to do it, like to the confession and admitting the sins. And also Mohammed came. He was also asking us to chant holy names of Allah, of the God, and just follow the principles of moral life, of pure life, and you will also be able to get free from this slavery of the material birth and death. 500 years ago, God came and showed the method by Himself. And this is a good heritage for us. And Srila Prabhupada brought this to us. And he wrote Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a great deed. He was already very old and he could do it, and now the scriptures have been spread all around the world, and many millions of people are already following this culture of purity and devotion to God. And us, sensible people, we have to follow his example, and doesn't matter which tradition the person is in. Those sins, the birth and death, these are the vices that are not, the soul doesn't have them, but they come. If we want to get a remedy for the immortality, we will have to turn to the sources where the method itself is given. And this marathon is giving this to everyone. And so everybody of any nationality can adopt this nectar of the immortality. Let's use this chance during our short life. And our task is just to get this chance. And if we have a possibility to lend a helping hand, then just do it, please, because a person lives and plans what will be after when we finish our material existence. Now we have read Srimad Bhagavatam, and it said about how to be successful and good in this kingdom, and he devoted the sense of life and to establish a relationship with God and to become perfect yogis and perfect people. This marathon is opening another mystery, because he takes this form of the devotee to feel this love, to feel what it is to love. Even if God knows everything, but he's interested in what the devotees are feeling. He needs to understand what his children feel, and then he takes the shape of a devotee and enjoys this love and makes such a conclusion that whoever is expressing the love to the object of his love feels more happiness than the one who just accepts a love. And he understood that his devotees feel more happy than himself, and that's what we need to learn from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And now we will continue, same as yesterday, our question and answer session. The first question: what does it mean to love God? How is it manifested in our normal life? So many duties, problems, family, mortgages, credits. How can Chaitanya Charitamrita help me to love God and remember our relationship with Him? Is it so easy? You know, the method itself is easy. It's not difficult. It's difficult to realize, to make it in practice, because we devote a lot of attention not to God but to ourselves. It's difficult to switch on to God, but the method itself is not difficult. How can, same as you love your close people, your relatives, it's not difficult to love them. There are many duties that you set, and work, family, credits. Just do the same thing for God. It is described there in which mood you have to do these or that duties. You need to extract the mood from there. The actions you described, it doesn't have to be difficult for you. It has to bring joy. You have to understand for what you are doing it for. We want to exploit the world for our own personal happiness, but this means to exploit the love. Love means everything for nothing. It's an uninterested thing, and that otherwise it's already exploitation. Chaitanya Charitamrita will help us to understand this mood, in which mood we have to do this devotional service. There is an example about God Chaitanya. Once he saw a washing lady. She was washing, and he just gives everyone this holy name without any reason, and he's telling to the laundry lady, let me just wash and you just sing the holy names. She said, you are a saint, you need to chant the holy names, but I have my own duties. I will have to do them. So everybody is on their place and they have to do the duties. And then God Chaitanya said, let me do the washing for you, and you just chant. And the washing laundry lady said, okay, it's a good offer. I will not lose anything. My work will continue. And she said, yes, okay. And then God Chaitanya started to wash the clothes. And laundry lady started chanting. As soon as she started chanting, he felt such a huge bliss, such a perfect bliss that you cannot achieve in the material world. Only God can feel it. And this God who gave this practice. And when she started chanting, he was just crying from happiness. And he said, okay, then you wash and I will just go further to chant the holy names. Then she said, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go with you and chant the holy names. And then he replied, no, you just have to stay on your place. Just continue your duties and chant. And then that's how you will attain the perfection. You don't need to go anywhere to chant. Just stay on your place. If you're fulfilling your duties with your family and think about God, then your actions are spiritual, not material. They will not bring you suffering. If you're working, doing something, you have a work, it's for God. This money goes to your family. This means it's a love of God. Hold it in your conscience that it is for God, because your children, if you take care of your relatives, God loves you if you take care in the right way. Chaitanya Charitamrita will help you to get this mood. Everything is very simple. The realization in practice, it's difficult. Where in the spiritual world God Chaitanya and his consorts live? Do they have their own special planet? Is it normal that I want to go to them more than to Krishna in Vrindavan? Yes, they have their own home. It's also there, the same place where Krishna lives in Goloka Vrindavana. It is there, and it's called Audarya Dhama. It means the home of mercy. Audarya means mercy. This is the home of God Chaitanya. Goloka Vrindavana is the home of Krishna, Krishna Loka. There is Vrindavan Dhama, and then there is Audarya Dhama. So Audarya Dhama is the home of God Chaitanya. And the fact that you want to go rather to God Chaitanya than to Krishna, it's normal. It's not against the truth. It's normal. Every single person will have their own personal relationship with God. That's how God organized it, that every life being has his own relationship with God. Everybody will have different ones. It's normal. Maybe you are a devotee of God Chaitanya if you are attracted to him so much, but you have to understand that God Chaitanya is Krishna himself as well, just in another mood. That's it. For instance, you can build relationships with your parents in different moods. While you are small, they are parents for you. When you are adult, it's still a parent, but it's more a friend. It's a different mood. You build a relationship with him. As soon as he goes to work, then you cannot build a relationship with God, with the parent. If you work together, then you create a relationship as with a director. I'm not practicing Hare Krishna, but I have a friend who very honestly and sincerely practices it. I like her way of life, her discipline, and her joy. How can you have so many rules and regulations and limitations and to be happy? That's a good question. Thank you very much. Many people ask themselves this question and they don't find the answer, and they think these are very strange people. They have so many limitations and they're still so happy. This is the sign of a spiritual person, that he always feels happy. The limitations are temporary. For example, a person quits alcohol or taking alcohol or drugs, and for some time he will still feel discomfort because he has been taking them for a very long time. He has still these energies, these forces inside that they were enslaving him and were pushing him to do these actions. He gave the promise, but he's just trying to be patient. It might be an illegal sex or eating dead food like meat, fish, eggs, or some black market cheatings. And it will not be so easy, but look at those people who are not smoking or not drinking anymore, for example. Do they put any effort? No, they don't put any effort because they don't even have anything like that in their conscience. They don't have anything like that they have to go and do some bad stuff. Look how many people don't eat meat. They're not suffering, they're happy. Because those energies, the foreign energies of death, they have gone and they feel happiness. So this is it. It's not a limitation, it's natural. A limitation is when we're fighting it. When we have just adopted it, then we have to have the limitations. Another thing. If you have felt a higher taste than some kind of low taste, you already will not want to change it back to the lower taste. If in your hands you have a piece of gold, you are enjoying it, you think, wow, such a precious thing, and near there is like a piece of copper. No, it's much nicer to hold the gold piece. But if they give you a huge ruby instead of this gold, you'll just take it in your hands and you'll understand gold is some kind of just metal. You'll not be even attracted by gold having a huge ruby. Same here, if you get the higher taste and the happiness inside, these limitations for you will not be a difficulty. It's not a difficulty, it's on the contrary, it's the freedom that you can live independently from all that. A person feels happiness in something else, and he will not want to change back to bad taste. In the beginning, you have to be patient, and when your mind will understand that you will not go back to the low taste, low actions, he will get settled and tranquil, and will put up with it. Just give him this higher taste of pleasures. Now it's very nice that you've noticed that there are these people like that, and they enjoy life. They are so happy. It's not a big austerity for them, not so strict rules. For them, it's already natural. It's not some kind of tension. You need to have the higher taste. If people feel the happiness inside, it means that they have yoga. Because the source of happiness is inside us. And the person who has connected with this source, he is not attracted to the low, bad things. Because he has received the higher taste. The God in our heart is the source of the happiness. Tell me, please, what do you get personally from reading Chaitanya Charitamrita? Well, the most important thing that I get is that my conscience absorbs something real, something godly. The conscience changes, and I become closer to God. I feel Him better, I understand Him better, and also I get satisfaction that my spiritual teacher, Guru, is happy with me, that his student is busy with something important, valuable in life. And at first you have to love your spiritual teacher, and then when he is happy, you will be able to feel the love of God. Because the teacher understands, if we do something practical that helps us to raise our consciousness, then he will open God for us. He will give us God. Because without the mercy of our spiritual teacher, we cannot get the God. It's impossible. And all the saints and holy scriptures are talking about that. That is, the mercy, it means prasad. You can get the mercy of God only from the mercy of the Guru. That's why it gives me happiness when I do something correctly. My heart is just rejoicing. Because if you give your heart to your spiritual teacher, you can feel in your heart, if you're doing something correctly, then your heart rejoices. And God in your heart is happy. It means you are going back home. You are just waking up. You will not be still in illusion. And it's also interesting to know what God is doing. Look what people are doing. They are always watch news. They want to know who is doing what in the news. Look what is in the news. The news are bringing information about something that other people do. And people are always discussing who is doing what. And they are asking each other, what are you doing? And he is doing, what is he doing? And the minister, what is he doing? And what are military or presidents doing? Everybody wants to know who is doing what. Why? Maybe I will copy something and also will do the same thing. And this one is busy with what? And he was stealing something. I also want to steal. And this one, who was it busy with? What was it? Also, he was busy with something good. Okay, I also want to do it. And here you can understand what the God is doing himself. It's very interesting. And the fact that we find out that people are busy with something in this material world, it's like chewing the truth things. We have already seen it so many times. We can see it from different angles, but it's always the same thing that they're doing. Eat, sleep, have sex, and create different comfort zones around themselves, like earn money. That's it. That's it. Everything is around it. And when you are watching all the time the same thing and you are thinking, maybe that's how I need to live, and the person is starting to live in the same way, just eat, sleep, and have sex and just create the comfort. This is what the world civilization is built on. So it's better to find out what is God doing. And you will do the same thing, or at least to try to achieve, to strive, to do some good things, some charity. If you see that God is doing this, you will also do the same things. Of course, you will not become God, but you will acquire God's qualities. And it's very important. That's why we are finding out what He is busy with. And when we find it out, that's when we get the cure for immortality. Because the games of God are eternal. This is what cleans our heart and memory the most. The actions of God. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam was written. The actions of God and His devotees. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are His special deeds described. And that's how we cleanse ourselves, our conscience, and that's how we approach God. If we don't know anything about God, how will we able to love Him? We have to know Him. Why devotees of God meditate and bow to the feet, lotus feet of God? Why is it particularly the feet which are underlined? It's the most attracting thing for a beginner, the feet. In the feet, there are all the force of all the deeds and all the austerities, and in the feet, and it's how the intelligent person has to start a day, just to feel the feet and touch the feet of his parents. This means humbleness, and on the humble head the river of knowledge will flow. The feet of God, they have everything. They have all the world. It's His basis. It's everything is there in the feet. How can I believe that God Chaitanya is the God Himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani? Just read it. How can one believe? Just read it when it's described. You may not believe it, but it's like that. Just take it as a fact. You don't believe it, but it's a fact. Somebody doesn't believe that 2 + 2 is 4. For example, I don't believe it like that. Take 2 apples and 2 apples, put them together, you'll see 4 apples. It's not a question of faith, it's a question of fact. If you're reading the Holy Scriptures, it is described there what this form of God Chaitanya is. It appeared because of this mood, exactly. Because the God wanted to know what His devotees feel. Look what God Chaitanya is doing. If you want to understand that this is the Radharani mood, look what God Chaitanya is doing. He is always praising Krishna. even if it's Krishna himself. But he is in the mood of Radharani, and that's why he's praising Krishna. And this is Srimati Radharani. This is her mood. She's always praising Krishna. And same devotees. If they praise Krishna, they go to this mood of Srimati Radharani. He serves Krishna, he serves God, and this is exactly the mood of Srimati Radharani. Because she doesn't think about anything else but him. I was reflecting during the quarantine, and I came to the thought that acceptance of the 4 principles, it is good for my character. Isn't it an egoistic thought? If a person is observing the regulating principles because of fear for his relatives, it means that he is in ignorance guna. It's not egoism. It's not egoistic thought that it is good to you, because it's your nature to follow these things. But since we forgot it and we were imposed other principles which destroy our life, and that's why we think that these 4 principles are difficult. And on the other side, you think, and they naturally are good for everyone, because it's a natural human state not to lie, not to take any intoxication substances, do not cheat on your wives and husbands, do not eat dead food. It's a normal human state. It's not some kind of state that you have to reach. It's a natural state. But other states, to drink alcohol, to cheat on wives, cheat on people with money, eat the meat, then this is not natural. You have to put some effort into getting there. This is what is not good for us. These 4 principles, regulative principles, it's our natural state. That's why you are saying correctly that it's my natural state and I like it. Yes, of course, because it's a natural human state. If a person is observing the regulating principles from fear for his relatives and close people, it means that he's in ignorance? No. Even if you do it because of fear, it will still bring you good use. Maybe there is an element of ignorance. Maybe there is some element of passion. I will do it because I will get this. But this is connected with your spiritual progress. If this is connected with it, then it's a good passion. At least if you can do it in this way, then you will get goodness from it, and also your relatives as well. The only thing that is unpleasant here, it is that you are as if you were forced to do this. This has to be voluntary. Even if it's your parents and you have some relationship with them, sometimes parents can force their child not to drink alcohol or take drugs, or not to cheat the wife or husband, or at least they can ask it very strongly. How to choose a husband? Wow, what is this question? To come to Krishna. How to understand, will this man be able to bring me to Krishna? I would like to do service to Krishna and society with my husband. Is it important to pay attention that the man has the same taste for devotion, same as me. You're describing an ideal picture. It's very difficult. Egoism is not cancelled. Everybody will want to do something their own thing. On the other hand, it's the ideal, an ideal thing when a man just accepts you. It means that you are together serving God. This is the ideal, but just have to understand that it will not be a simple task, especially in this degradation epoch. How to understand if a man can bring me to Krishna? Ask him what his goal is, and that's it. Otherwise, you will not understand. If he is a real devotee, he has a guru, and if he observes all the rules of spiritual life, but you don't have to think if he brings me or not. It means that you're exploiting him. I need a man to bring me to Krishna. This is not love, this is exploitation. You will not search for love in him, and you will search for bad things in him. You'll read the holy scriptures, it said this, he has to do this, but he's not doing it. This is the worst part of the spiritual family relationship, when men or women exploit the other part just to bring them to God. It's not the correct position in the root. It's destructive. It will not bring happiness to everyone. Nobody wants to be exploited. Everybody just wants to serve without any interest. I don't suggest you to marry if you have such a mood. And then you will have to get born again. You will be born as a man and you will be exploited. And it's not a fact that you will come to God. Just serve him with love and help him to come to Krishna, and think how to bring him and how to help him to get to the Krishna conscience. This is dharma of woman, to help a man to attain perfection. It's not a dharma of woman make man to bring her to God. Her dharma is to help him to go to God. If he is going in the correct way, then you will get there automatically as well. If you are in the train and the train is going, and it will come. You just have to stay in the train and then you will arrive. Just put your goal to serve the man, to help him, to be a friend for him, to do everything that he wants, and to think, I want him to bring me to God. It's not correct. Otherwise, you will spoil your relationship. And the tastes are the same. This would be ideal to have a... They will not be the same, but the intelligence, the thinking is the same. The goals set are the same. You don't have contradictions in your thinking and philosophy. Tastes can be different. It's good that you have different tastes. Important is that they are not disturbing you from getting the taste of Krishna. Important is to help each other. Sometimes I feel it seems that God loves some people more than others. It gives them such an experience that makes their faith stronger, and to others no, because we haven't deserved it yet. Whatever we're given is what we have deserved. We will not be given more or less than that. God loves us all in the same way, in the same extent, but realizations will be different. We put some effort, and that's how we get experience. And if somebody is not putting any effort and he is a bad person, and in the past life he just did something bad, he will not receive this experience because he will not be appreciated. It's like putting beads in front of the pigs. They will not be able to appreciate it. Like God was saying, yeah, why should we give this to them? They will not understand it. According to your faith, that's what you will get. How much we put the effort, that's how big experience we will get. But God loves everyone. His attitude to everyone is the same. But what we will be able to experience, it's our own merit. Everybody will get whatever he deserves. But his love to everyone is the same. He is unbiased. I don't hate anyone, don't feel like enemy or like a friend to anyone. Or everybody's the same. Even if he tells in one place, who is spreading this knowledge to my devotees, he is very important to me. It doesn't mean that he doesn't love anyone. It's like a parent. He loves all children if there are 10 or 5 or 2, but he prefers someone a bit more because he has some certain relationship. One thing is just to love him as your child. Another thing is their just special relationship. One child just thinks about mom. He helps her to clean, to wash dishes, bring her flowers. And the other one doesn't do anything, just sits on her neck. Can we say that she doesn't love him? Of course she loves him, but not as much as this other child who is giving so much without anything in return to his mom or dad. Same for us. If we don't put any effort, we'll not get anything. Now, if we're putting some effort, just continue. Experience is such a thing that it will lead you till the end of your life as some thing that causes enthusiasm. Just put some effort, be patient, and you will get some realizations. The principles of serving Panchatattva. What is there? Just chant before Panchatattva. Panchatattva are the consorts of God. This is God himself in 5 different forms. Panch is 5. Tattva is like personalities. The most simple serving is just chant before them and give others the possibility to chant. It's the best service. They don't need anything else, just chant in front of them. Dance, sing, glorify them. It's their essence. This is what they do. They just continuously dance, chant, and glorify. They don't do anything else. When they were on the planet, they were doing exactly just this. They didn't do anything else. They would help people to realize God. That's how they bring truth for us. Krishna wanted to find out how devotees love him, and he came as God Chaitanya. Does it mean that God also develops and finds out something new for him, but he knows everything? And sometimes God doesn't know himself. That's how he's so mysterious. There are no limits. There's always something. There's something new. Everything new is. He's always expanding. There are no limits. He's always expanding. God does this also for us. He comes He wants us to meditate on Him. And for us, the most valuable thing is to become a devotee. And He shows this example of devotee. It seems like He has one goal, but many aspects will be shown. He wants to feel it, and that's why he had to adopt this form of a devotee and show to us, so that we meditate and we also get this sweet thing for the soul. There's nothing more sweet, because it gets the highest happiness when it serves the source of happiness. Tell me, if I got the coronavirus, is this a mercy of Krishna, or is it punishment for your sins? Just understand that punishment for sins is also a mercy. It's not just your situation, it's in general. Punishment is also a mercy. For example, a person killed someone. For him, the best punishment is that he is killed, and this is mercy. Why? Because in his next life he will not be punished like that. And if he is not yet killed, he is still waiting for his punishment. You try to understand, he will still have to experience death, but he is just delaying it. Except for the fact that he himself will just live this death, but he will also die in such a way that he killed another person. In the next life he will have to be born, grow up, and be killed in the same way. Otherwise, he's already killed, and he's okay. He said, otherwise I will just cancel my karma straight away and be killed. The fact that we got the coronavirus, it can be a mercy and non-mercy. A mercy that you are now warned, and now you'll be very serious, like Tsar Parikshit, and they told him 7 days and you will die. And then he took very seriously life. He just took the very essence and got to the perfection. He attained the perfection. Same here. You were told you are ill. That's it. Just adopt a serious mood. It's a mercy, and just put all the useless things and just just concentrate on the highest goal. But this is also punishment. How you will look at it, that's how it will be. If you will use this time for concentration of your attention on God, then it's mercy. If you are just suffering and not doing anything, then there's nothing good in it. That's how people die in fear and go to hell. This is what scriptures say. In whatever state a person leaves this world, that's what he will get after death. If he's in fear, he goes to hell. If he's dying with a smile, he knows that he doesn't have any sins. He says, okay, I have just finished my suffering here, then he will go to the spiritual world. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:63, 42. 10th canto, 63rd chapter, text 42. Here Shiva calls Krishna his own real true self of every mortal citing. That mortal who is defying you, your true self. Does it mean that the true self of every mortal person of every mortal person is God Krishna himself. Please explain. Okay, 1063.
Яствам висиджате мартя атманам приям ишварам випарья ендриярдхартхам вишама атьямритам тяджан. Тот смертный,
that mortal
отвергает тебя,
who defies you,
свою истинное я,
your own true self,
самого дорогого друга,
your dearest, most dear friend, and the one who is the owner of the objects of feelings and shows the path to you, he just takes poison instead of the nectar.
Значит ли это, что истинным я каждого человека смертного является сам Господь Кришна? Объясните, пожалуйста. Истинное я подразумевается не ложное я.
The true
I
means not false I. While we're living in this world, we will make us equal to this body and to some social, there will be some labels. But the true self is me as the spiritual being. And we are not different from God quality-wise. The quality is the same as Him. Just the differences in the quantity. And the true self is the object of our meditation. We're little tiny Krishnas. Because the quality is not different from Him. Same as Him. The body is the same as Him. There will be a little difference only. In quantity-wise, we're less. That's it.
Истинное я имеется в виду не ложное я.
The true self means not false self.
То есть истинное я не то, что Кришна это и есть я, прям вот этот.
It's not that I am Krishna, Bhagavan Swayam, the primordial.
Я его частица, обладающая этими же качествами.
I'm his part, which has the same qualities.
То есть объект медитации истинное я имеется в виду Кришна. То есть он настоящее я.
The object of meditation is true self, means not false. We are also real, but very little.
Медитировать надо, да, на него просто.
You need to meditate on Him.
Куда душа отправляется после смерти?
Where the soul is going after death, if it was devoted to Orthodox tradition,
на райские планеты,
on the paradise planets, and then goes back to earth, or he goes to the Jesus planet, and this planet is in the spiritual world, the question. And then it stays there forever, or we will also go back to Krishna. There are several questions. Where is the soul going after death if it was in the Orthodox tradition? Orthodox tradition also gives the possibility to go to the spiritual world if the person sincerely serves Jesus and observes His commandments and studies His spiritual philosophy. He does it all sincerely, and Jesus himself from the heart, he will reveal the real meaning, true meaning of the person's being here. Krishtoshana is the God, is the son of Krishna. And Krishna says, I am the father of all life beings. He doesn't divide, I am the father of this tradition and this. No, all the life beings. If you serve Jesus sincerely, he will bring you to the spiritual world. Doesn't matter if you are Orthodox or not. As soon as you leave the body, you will understand that all these limitations like Orthodox, Muslims, Buddhists, it's only useful for the earth, for this planet. Otherwise, beyond there, you will not need them anymore. If you have the qualities of the person who is realizing God, then you will get there. If you are just having correct life without sins, and at the same time you are not cultivating self-awareness in you, you are not studying nature of God and your relationship with Him, then you will go to paradise planets for your very good life and then back to earth. You're telling it correctly. Again, then you're born again on the ground, on the earth. You'll get a little bit of virtue because on your paradise planets you are spending all your virtue, and you come again and start everything again. Yes, if a person is devoted to Jesus sincerely, he will come to the planet of Jesus, which is in the spiritual world. He's still there, and he's waiting everyone there. He'll take all his true devotees there. It's the planet of God. The God is there as well. You are getting to the spiritual world. But if you are devotee, not just a devotee of a tradition. There are many different traditions. They say, we're Hindus, we're Muslims, we're Orthodox. These are traditions. But what you are doing in this tradition, if you are not following the rules and regulations in this tradition, which are on like the commandments of Jesus, for example, Muslims also have certain commandments. If you follow them, then you're going to the spiritual world. If a person just has the cross and commits sins and says everyone, I am the Orthodox to everyone, then he is going to straight to hell. It's not because the Christ has taken all our sins on the cross, and no, it's illusion. If a person did something not on purpose and just understood it and confessed, then, as Jesus says, then he will take this sin. And you are not doing this anymore. And then it's not like every time I confess and then Jesus will take it. Confess and Jesus will take it. Don't exploit him. This is like a betrayal. You can call it like that. It's better for you to be a devotee of Jesus. Then you will get to the spiritual world. If we are sinners, then which paradise are you talking about? And then back to the animal forms of life, and then you will live, and then back to a human. Live like a human. Faith in God is very weak, but I have a big faith in you and your team. I have doubts that it is correct. Can you comment on this? Our faith is also starting from a personality, from a group of people. This is the beginning, it's good. But you have to strengthen your faith in God. If you are serving these people, are friends with them, you communicate, they will give you this taste. Just stay on this wave, always. In this field, and you will feel that your faith is getting stronger because the God in your heart is happy because you chose the right way, and He will give you this enthusiasm to strengthen the faith from your heart. This is normal that in the beginning we believe in some simple people. If they're following the correct way, you also will follow this correct way. If they're following the incorrect way, same, you will follow. Look how many people in the post-Soviet times, as soon as USSR was finished, it was such a crazy time in our country, so many bandits, so many crimes, so many groups, and many people believed it was correct, and they themselves, they became bandits because they believed in some authorities, some criminals who can just do crimes without any punishment. It's a nice life, you're just doing everything. Wow, that's cool, they're so good. This Atrodny or those different mafias in Italy or in America, people would believe in them and would become the same. Still, this wave is going. In the internet, there are many different videos of this kind, and they're convinced that this is the correct life. This is their faith in such people. So if you choose people who are going off with the way of self-awareness, you will gradually become like this, and your faith will strengthen, and you might even overtake some of them. It also exists. Just no, you have to know it. So it's very good. What is transcendental science? Is it the same as the interest to the nature of the spirit? Yes, you are understanding the spiritual nature, and also you're understanding yourself because you consist of spirit. This is the science. Science means that we adopt a method and we start to experiment, to check it. Science means that it's an experiment. And you have an experiment, you follow the experiment, and then you make a conclusion. Same as spiritual science. If it helps you to realize your true nature, then it's a scientific method. You practice something and you follow yourself, you follow the experiment. Does the soul need to learn its nature again, or it just remembers this nature? It can remember it until a certain level. Even our past lives we can remember, but after you will still have to learn it further. It's the same memory, there are no contradictions, because soul by default has the complete knowledge. But since it's in this world of oblivion, it just forgot everything. It needs to remember everything. And Krishna says that I give the memory and I also give the oblivion. We just need to develop in the right direction, and the God who is in our heart is opening everything according to our efforts. In the way of books, we're reading something, we found something out, we didn't find it out, we just remembered. How? We cannot explain it to ourselves. It's difficult for us to know, to say, wow, I didn't know that. But if we don't remember what we did 5 days ago, what to tell about this spiritual level? Yes, it's true that we remember everything. It's the transcendental process, it's the science. In the past life, we arrived to a certain level. In this life, we will be growing and growing, and we will be in the oblivion because we need to have some material desires. Then we have to forget about our material nature, otherwise we will not be able to realize our material desires, and that's why otherwise we will not be able. And then we live 1/3 of life, we don't know anything. Then the limit is expired of the material desires to enjoy them. And then in the past we also had spiritual desires, and then we come to the level where we stopped and we start understanding something, being interested in spirituality, start to follow it, and it's so nice and beautiful, and we have so much of enthusiasm, but it doesn't mean that we stopped here. We will arrive there, but to arrive there we need the enthusiasm. It's like in a computer game. Some steps we do fast, quickly. This we already know, this is like this, we put some effort, yeah, we overcome, and then up, there is one thing which is like a dead end. We cannot overcome this obstacle, and then it starts. That means that we have arrived. It's difficult to wake up, it's difficult to communicate with people, it's difficult to observe the principles. It means that this is where we stopped in our past life, and now we have to fight it again. This is the reality. If we have a protection and the mercy of Guru and saints, this overcoming of these obstacles will bring us satisfaction, and that's how we can continue going. The main thing is not stop, not stop, just to continue.
Шримад Бхагаватам 12.4.36 говорится.
Srimad Bhagavatam 12:36, he is saying, all the forms of matter undergo changes, and under the influence of the powerful flow of time, quickly and continuously are destroyed. Different states of being in which material objects are again and again bring to the creation and destruction. The question: is there the record of all the deeds of the soul? If gunas of material nature is the threads, can we say that every soul is weaving its own pattern, and its all thoughts and actions are reflected in this textile? To correct the mistakes in this textile, we have to undo it, or just to try not to do these mistakes in the future. It's very difficult. While you are undoing something, you will be able to get tangled. Just Krishna says, just stop doing everything. Just devote, give up to me, surrender to me, and I will free you from all the consequences of material actions, because a person cannot manage karma's difficulties, and he's trying to untangle something, and there is something else new is created. You want to solve your problem, and there are some new problems arise. This is written in the Bhagavatam. Gunas, yeah, is there the record of all the actions of soul? Yes, there is the record. Everything is there. Gunas of material, they are sometimes very harsh, but they are just working as a mechanism. They don't ask anyone, they just do their job. If we are in these gunas, we don't have the knowledge how to go out from these gunas. We are just bound to the eternal birth and death. You can untangle them, but we don't have much time. It's just better to believe in someone who manages gunas, and if you surrender to him, then he says, I will free you from all the gunas. Otherwise, by yourself, it will be very difficult to do it. Tell me, please, what kind of other options of soul coming on the earth exist apart from rain and grain? In Bhagavatam it says through the sweat, through the embryo, through the semen, through the grain. There is a mystical entrance, but it's in very rare cases when the soul itself can just manifest a body, but it's a very high level. Demigods do it. They just create a temporary body, and at some point they just lived and they did whatever they needed to do and they just go away. But it's a very mystical, high level. Why the translations of verses is sometimes different from the word-to-word translation. It seems that even the sense, the meaning is different. For example, Srimad Bhagavatam 12:4-33. When the cloud, which appeared thanks to the sun, is flash, it's going away, then the eyes can see the sun. In its true form. Same as soul when it's acquiring transcendental knowledge, it starts to realize its primordial spiritual nature. In the word-to-word translation, the sense, the meaning is slightly different. And there is the word-to-word translation. You have to understand that Sanskrit is the most difficult language. And one Sanskrit word may have very many different meanings. For example, dvija. It's a Sanskrit word. Dvi means two. Ja means life. So it means born twice. So this is one explanation. Another one means a tooth. But this is how it goes exactly. The first tooth is falling out and then there is the real one. Or it can be also a little bird, because it is born two times, first in the egg and then from the egg. Dvija also can mean a person two times, who was born two times. The first birth was from parents and then from his spiritual teacher. It means he gets the initiation. Sometimes there are these kind of contradictions that seem like contradictions, but important is to convey the sense of this verse. But then you will see that sometimes some words, they can manifest themselves in different ways. This is the power of Sanskrit. You have to learn for 12 years, a lot of time a day, to be able to learn Sanskrit, because it's a spiritual language, not material. One word can have many meanings.
Можно ли добиться такого же уровня сознания Кришны,
Can we
которое
get the
было
same
у
level of
спутников
Krishna
Господа
consciousness
Чайтаньи?
that had concerts of
Смотря какие
Chaitanya had?
спутники.
Depends which concerts.
Если, например, спутник Господь Нитянанда, то вряд ли
If
до такого уровня
it
дойдет.
was
Ну,
God
добьетесь.
Nityananda, you mean
Это
God
уровень
Nityananda,
Бога.
it's
Nityananda
very
это
difficult that you
верховный
will
Бога,
attain
сам
this
Баларам.
level because
И
it's
он спутник
it's
Господа
God
Чайтаньи.
Himself, and He is
То есть
the
такого
consort
уровня
of God
добиться
Chaitanya.
сейчас в Кали-югу тем более. Да, и
This
вообще, по-моему,
level
не добьешься
is
этого
very
уровня.
difficult to attain, especially now in
То
Kali
есть вы должны
Yuga
Богом стать
and in
тогда,
general.
только так.
Then you need to become God, that's it.
Спутники. А есть спутники, которые
There are other
находятся в
concerts
Панчататве, то есть и в
who are in
пяти ипостасях, но
Panchatattva,
также
in
вы не
those five
достигнете
forms,
уровня Адвайта
you will
Ачарьи,
not be
потому
able
что
to
это
reach
сам
the
Махавишну, это сам
level of
Бог,
Advaita
который
Acharya.
творит материальный космос.
This
И
is Mahavishnu
тоже
himself, the
вы
God who
такого
creates the
уровня не
material
достигнете.
cosmos. You will not be able to
То
attain
есть
this
уровень
level.
Гададхара Пандита,
The
это
level of
Шримати
Gadadhara
Радхарани,
Pandit
такого уровня
of
тоже не
Srimati
достигнете.
Radharani, you will also not be able to
Уровня
achieve
Нарады
it.
Муни, Вишиваса Такура.
The level of Narada Muni or
Потому
Shivasa
что
Thakur
Нарада Муни
can
это
be
преданный.
achieved
И
because Narada
преданность такую
Muni
можно достичь.
is a devotee, and you can achieve this kind of devotion.
То есть про каких спутников вот речь идет? Есть
What kind of
спутники
concerts are you talking
Господа
about?
Чайтаньи, они не находятся в Панчататве. Это я
There
сейчас
are
Панчататву
some
перечислил,
concerts
они
that are not
спутники.
in Panchatattva.
Но есть спутники, которые не входят в Панчататву. И так, вот такого уровня можно достичь, конечно, но
And you can reach
всё
that
это
level, of
только
course.
по милости самого Господа.
But
Если
this will
Господь
be
будет
from the mercy of
удовлетворен
God.
вами, он вам
If the
даст
God will be
практику,
satisfied
поможет
with
сам
you,
вам.
if
И
He
вы
will
можете
help you
достичь
to
такого
practice,
уровня.
and you will be able to
Имеется
achieve this
преданность.
level.
Вопрос
It
только
means
преданности
about
идет.
devotion.
Уровень преданности.
Only about devotion we are talking.
Шрила Прабхупада,
Srila Prabhupada,
Парамахамса,
Paramahamsa,
Паривраджикачарья. Но
Parivrajakacharya.
мы видим,
But we see
что он
that
и
he
кушал, и спал.
was eating and
Но
sleeping,
получается,
but
мог и не спать.
he might also
Просто нам
not sleep.
Просто нам не доставлял беспокойств.
He just didn't want to disturb us.
Вопрос что-то не уловил.
I didn't understand the question.
Ну, к примеру, даже Бог на планете был, и он тоже кушал.
Even the God was on the planet and he was also eating and sleeping.
То есть время, место, обстоятельства.
Time, place and circumstances, it doesn't mean that Paramahamsas don't eat. They also might not eat, but it's better for them to eat because they have a physical body that if it acts, you need to feed it. The laws of material world are still valid. Acharya, Paravraджика Acharya is the Acharya who always travels and he needs to eat and sleep. Of course he can, but then he doesn't need to do anything. Like a yogi, you sit in the cave. If you're not doing anything, just sit in the meditation. But if you're moving, if you have a physical body, it will ask. Don't idealize. If a person is Paramahamsa, he may not eat. Of course he has. He can not eat, but he is better to do this. Because he has a lot of actions. The physical body demands a lot of force.
И так, чтобы не отличаться, чтобы люди там с ума не сходили при виде такого.
To be, in order not to be so different, so that people also don't get crazy seeing this kind of strange person. Of course, he sleeps, eats as everyone else, but whoever is near him, they understand it's a special personality. Prabhupada's students, disciples, they tell about many miracles, how he was, what he was performing, but he didn't want to brag that I am special Paramahamsa. He was just living like a simple person.
Но получается, мог и не спать же, просто нам не доставлял беспокойств. Просто чтоб, наверное, нам не доставлял беспокойств. Наоборот, он
On the contrary, he was eating and he brought pleasure, joy to his disciples, and it would be worse. Everybody would be worried otherwise. And he was making them serve. How to understand names, or this is the aspects of personal nature of God. How do we understand these names? God, Hari, Krishna, Brahma, Vishnu. Vishnu means the highest.
Хари,
Hari,
тот, кто носит все печали, тревоги.
whoever is taking away all the worries. Krishna means all attracting. Rama means
Так и понимаете.
the one who brings joy. That's how you have to understand it. Every name of God has. In Islam, there are 99 names of Allah, and every name means something. If a person repeats, cultivates, he repeats them, he cultivates these qualities in him, in himself.
Шримад Бхагаватам, 10-я песня, глава 69.
Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th
В том дворце, в котором
chapter 69
медитировал Шри Кришна
chapter.
на
In
верховную
the
личность Бога,
palace where Krishna was meditating on the Supreme
на
Personality
кого
of
он
Godhead,
медитировал? На себя?
who he
Да.
was meditating on himself?
Так
Yes,
описывается, он на себя
it is
медитировал,
described.
на
He
свой
was
аспект
meditating on
духовный
himself,
медитировал.
on his spiritual aspect.
Мы же медитируем на себя периодически.
We sometimes meditate on ourselves. We always think about ourselves. What is
Концентрация
meditation?
внимания.
It's a concentration
Так
of
переводится это слово,
attention
это слово медитация. Концентрация внимания на одном объекте.
on one
Четко.
object.
Посмотрите, сколько мы о себе
Precisely.
думаем.
Look how much we think about ourselves, how we meditate on
Мы всю
ourselves.
жизнь о себе думаем.
Most of our life we meditate.
Да, Кришна медитировал на себя, на свой
Yes,
аспект также.
Krishna was meditating on himself and on his aspect as well.
Просто его медитация от нашей отличается, его медитация пользу всем приносит.
His meditation is different from ours. His meditation is bringing
Рукмини, она
goodness for
спросила,
everyone.
когда
It
он
feeds
уходил,
everyone. Rukmana asked when he was when she was and he was leaving from the palace. She asked him, where are you going? I need to make my duties. I need to feed everyone. He went and she thought, okay, let's check. And she said she saw an ant and she took him, took the box, and this ant just caught him in a little box and hid him. And she decided to check. Now he will come when he fed all the live beings, and I will ask him, have you fed all the live beings? And I know that this ant will not be fed because I have just hid him. And when he comes, I will ask him, I have an ant, I didn't feed him. And Krishna would say, he's eating a piece of rice, and this little grain of rice just fell from her forehead when she was closing the box. She didn't even notice. Who did it? Krishna. His meditation on himself gives goodness to everyone. Our meditation on ourselves gives suffering to everyone. Was there any difference in different traditions? In Satya Yuga, when there was one Bharata, there were no traditions in Satya Yuga. Traditions just appeared recently. What you are doing is correct. There was one Bharata and Vedic culture. Everybody knew God, everybody knew themselves, everybody knew what they had to do. There were no borders, no passport, no religions. There was just one culture, Vedic culture. Why a person is searching for love, is demanding it from others, is tries to get the attention to himself and disturbs others. How to help him? How to help him to become giving, not asking. Just chant holy names, study the holy scriptures. Then you will not have deficit and you have abundance and you will be able to give. While you don't have anything, you will not be able to give to this person anything. Just work on yourself, just do your spiritual practice. Don't think that you can go and help someone. Just help yourself. It will help people better. Just absorb this, try to become a strong spiritual person. Then you will be able to give endlessly and you will not lack. It's like ocean. If you just get a bucket of water from the ocean, will it be less? No. And so same here. Just do the spiritual practice, think about your spiritual growth, and just think about yourself, not to disturb anyone. And while you will be getting things and filling yourself, people will ask themselves. Of course, you're saying everybody wants love, and we are all in this state. Everybody needs God, and because He is the source of this love, and we're all searching for Him, because we have love, God. Then you will be a rich person, and everybody will start asking you. Everybody asks for something from rich people. If they ask you nothing, then it means you are poor. If you start to be rich, people will start asking you. They will come to you and start asking you. Then it means you have a spiritual abundance. Give it to people. Give them the knowledge. Give them the God conscience. Give them the hope and faith. It means that you are a spiritual person. Everybody will search for Him. It's the most important thing. This is what we're searching. We came to this world, we got the human bodies. Why? Because we are searching for love. This is the illusion. It just brings people away from it. It seems like love is when it is given. We have already love. You don't need to search for it. It's inside us. It lives forever. There was no time when we didn't have love. We also have it. Just it manifests, it appears when we give, not when we take and say, give it to me. This is the secret that everybody has to reveal. When you give, you feel the love, but when you're feeling, it's not love what you're feeling. Love will develop naturally. We have it already. It will manifest when we're doing something without waiting anything in return for other people. But when you're waiting for it and waiting and waiting, you're just egoist. I'm not telling exactly about the person who asked this question. I'm telling about whoever is living like this. Waiting and waiting. Why do you have to wait? Just give, do something, care about the people, do something important for them, for people. Asking, give me the love, give me love, I have lack of love, please think about me, give me attention, give me this, give me that, give me husband. This person is the exploiter number one. He has love and he's asking everyone for love. It's a greedy person. Why are you asking for it? You have it. Give something to people and you will feel this love. Why you all the time you ask and ask? You need to be careful in these things. Otherwise, we will be born again and it is not a fact that we will be born a person, a human. Important is the person to see beyond this life, what is awaiting for him after that. If they start asking for attention, asking things, something for himself, this person is the killer of his own soul, of his spiritual nature. It reveals itself when we give, without anything in return. And if on the appearance we just follow some principles, but inside we still have the desire to so that people think about us and care about us, and we always live in this exploiting mood, then we just have to find the possibilities to give something and not to demand anything for yourself. You're just, otherwise you're a very dangerous person in the society, because you are demanding some kind of attention to yourself, and you are giving this virus to other people. It seems like it's the last question. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will